You highly welcome, my dear brothers and sisters out there. I'm glad that you just clicked to watch this message. Today we're going to be talking about the nature and the punishment of idolatry. Now when we talk about idolatry, we're talking about bringing out God in whatsoever image, in whatsoever fashion or form, just the same way we saw what happened to the children of Israel when they came out from the land of Egypt. And coming back from the land of Egypt, they were a people who learned the way of the Egyptians, so they wanted to serve their creator by molding something to their creator, trying to use a molding something in order to please or to thank the true creator, the living Elohim. So they wanted to see God through something that was being molded, not knowing that they are already putting a lot of spell or curses upon their head, because you, being a living being, decided to make something that does not breathe, that does not walk, that does not speak, and you put those things out there. You want to say that this is your God, or this is what you want to follow, just like you see the things which is going on with the Buddha, with the false image in the Christianity of Jesus, with the carved images of wood which is being shaped in the fashion of a man or a woman or whatsoever in different places. And you see a lot of people bringing those things out because they want to see something, and as a result they were being given something, and out of their hearts they created a God for themselves. Just like you see what is going on in the Islam world, they try to bring out, having a stone in Kaaba stone, which a lot of people are going there in order to do what? To go and worship, or to be able to have to cycle that particular stone. Just as the Bible has said in the book of Deuteronomy that you are going to go into a nation and you're going to serve gods which you nor your fathers did not know. And in those places you're going to be serving wood and stone. And this is something that you need to be able to understand. A lot of people, they are into full-time idolatry, trying to use all kind of excuses in order to back their evil practices which they are doing, because they don't understand the magnitude of what they are dealing with in regards to that idolatry. Because you as a living being, how can you be so dumb? How can you be so dumbed down that you forgot that inside of you is the living one? What does the Bible tell you about who you are? The Bible says that the body that you're seeing is just like what? Is a temple. Is a temple, which means this body that you're seeing is a vehicle that is transporting you, the living being, the living one inside of this particular body. So how can you be so foolish? How can you be so dumbed down to the extent that you are now? You want to bring out something that is not living, and you want to please the creator through something that was being molded, through something that is being carved, through something that does not breathe, through something that does not walk, something that you have power over. You want to create that thing with your stinking, with the stinking hand that you have, and you want to fashion it in the form of a god, whatsoever, in the form of a god of a wood, in the form of a god of a gold, in the form of a god of a silver, in the form of a god of a stone, in the form of a different god. You want to do what? You want to fashion a god. You want to see something that you follow. Just you see what is going on in all this religion. You talk about Buddha, you talk about Hindu, you talk about Catholicism. What are you seeing? You talk about tradition, a lot of these things. What are you seeing? You are seeing simply what? A deteriorated, a low vibrational beings who are doing what? Who are simply being deceived by their own way that they see God, by doing what? By trying to portray God, by creating something with their own stinking heart, because they want to see something that they can be able to do what? To attach themselves to. So they don't see the real life which is in them. Why? Because they themselves are not right, so they cannot see God. They cannot see the living being in somebody who is a living. Rather, they want to see God through something that is not living. This is the reason why you see a lot of people. The Most High was very, very angry. What with the children of Israel? Because these people do not understand actually what is really going on. These people were being, called out from Egypt. And the Most High was guiding these people in order to do what? To bring them into the place that He has already promised them. And now what happened? You need to be able to understand the real magnitude of this thing. These people, on behalf, while Moses went into the Mount of Horeb, to go there and be able to do what? And help these people to be able to get a commandment that is going to help them, to guide them on their journey. But before Moses came down, these people from their heart already, the things which is in their heart and the things which they have learned from Egypt, which corrupted their hearts and the state of their mind, made them to think that the Most High, the true living being, can be served or can be worshipped the same way other nations are doing what? Are worshipping their own gods. And they forgot what the Bible said, that what? The living one, the true creator, Yahuwah Elohim, is the only living, the true creator, which means all other gods of all other nations are what? Are nothing but what? But idols. Now, they came out of Egypt and they want to worship, they want to follow the true creator who brought them out from the land of Egypt. They want to worship Him by what? By making a molten calf. So they want to see this thing is what? They say, this, behold, something that is being molded is what they want to do, what they want to see and what they want to follow. Can you see the reason why the Most High's anger has to be upon these people? Because they did not understand the magnitude of what is inside of. They do not know who they are, and they did not understand the dimension which they have just entered into. Because that dimension which they have entered into by crossing over from that particular Red Sea into this other side, that is a higher dimension whereby beings who were able to make it there, they were actually supposed to know that that particular place is what? Is a place where beings are to be what? Are to be the light. In a literal sense, the life which is in you should be something that others should be what? Should be looking into, rather than looking into something that was either molded or whatsoever. So you are being regarded as what? As a higher being the moment that you cross that fourth to the fifth dimension. So, and that is the reason why in that dimension there was no such thing as what? As mercy. There was no such anything as, such thing as mercy does not exist in that paradigm. That was the reason why you saw that what Joshua was able to do, what? To scatter and cut into pieces the family and burn the family of Achan. But some of you don't understand what was going on in that particular paradigm, right? Because the moment that you start seeing the true creator, the living being which resides inside of you, you start seeing that living being through something that was being molded, you are in trouble. You went and you shaped something. You carved it. Somebody deceived you, which is a trick, which was being used, which has been used by a lot of these different religious organizations to be able to do what? To deviate, to channel your energy outside of something that you are not supposed to be following. And as a result, the moment that your energy has been channeled aside of the true thing which you are supposed to be beholding, the moment your energy has been channeled aside, what is going to happen is that enemy who has deceived you into channeling your energy to that particular graven image or molten image, that particular being is going to be in total control of you. Why? Because you do not understand the magnitude, you do not understand who you are as a being. And this was the reason why the Most High was angry with the children of Israel. How come? These people, He brought them out, these living ones, and now they want to go back to Egypt. They want to go back into following something that is what that is dead, a molten calf. A molten calf. They go and they shape a lot of things. And as a result of this thing, these people are what? Are all being tied in what? In that particular, in their lower self. And that is the reason why a lot of them cannot be able to do what? To grow. Why? Because inside of them, they have issues with their own self. So this is the reason why they are trying to see God outside of their own self. Because if you are somebody who is truthful to yourself, you would try to do what you would try to be that light which is going to be illuminated, so that everybody, anyone who want to see the true creator, do not need to be looking through a stone, or do not need to be looking through a wood, do not need to be looking through a molten something, but rather that individual who is seeking the Most High will be able to look through you, and through you that person is going to see the living being. What do you think that Yahushua came to do? He said that he who has seen me has seen the Father, because I am in my Father and my Father is in me. Do you really understand the reason why the people who were, when you talk about the scribes and the Pharisees were against him, they were like, who do you really think that you are? Because Yahushua came in order to do what? He was an express image of the Father. He was an express image of what? Of the invisible Elohim. Do you really understand what that means? Which means the way that Yahushua acted, the way that he did things, is exactly the way that the Father is going to do this if the Father is to be here. So which means the Father is, the Son is simply a direct reflection. That is a direct, Son of the Most High. So whatever you behold Yahushua doing is the same thing that the Father is going to do. So you are seeing a living being who has no beginning. So if you are being dumped down into creating a God, into creating something that have eye but that cannot see, that have mouth but cannot speak. You go into a forest, you cut a tree, you make a wood out of it. You want to worship that particular God that you carved out of wood. You want to follow it. You want to say that this is your God, and out of the same wood you make a fire, you cook food with it, you eat from the same wood, but yet you still want to make a God out of this particular wood. Then you say that a lot of you who really think that you are awakened are low vibrational beings. Why? Because you can't see, you can't understand that inside of you is what is the living, is the purpose of your breathing. Inside of you is something that is living. So if you are to see the true creator, you are to be an example of something that others should be able to do or to emulate. So this is the real thing that you need to be able to understand. This is the real thing that you need to be able to do or to understand. Rather than trying to trap yourself into something that is already, that is for low vibrational beings. You need to be able to understand something, my dear brothers and sisters. At the early onset of things, the creations of all these religions, you need to be able to understand that this thing that has to do with molten images, and the reason why Aaron even hearkened to their voice, to the voice of the children of Israel, was because, these people, this is what is in their hearts. This is what they desire, so they brought it out. And what happened? They were being presented with something that they desired on. So they were being given something. Why? Because they are, this is what they are seeking. They said that this is the God. Behold, the God that brought them out from Egypt. And this is exactly the problem with these people. Why? Because they did not understand, like I said, the magnitude of what is really taking place until this day. So we are talking about somebody serving molten idols. Now, do you see why it is, very big atrocity for a real son, a real daughter to be able to do what? To go and be following a graven image. You know why? Because inside of you is the living being. How is it that you're so dumb, or you're being fooled into following something that does not breathe, that does not have breath, that does not talk, that does not see, that does not speak? How can you be so fooled into following those things when you yourself, you can speak, you can hear, you can see, you can touch, and you are being deceived into following something that does not have all these characteristics that I just mentioned to you? Have you not been deceived? So because you are a living being, and because since you are a living being, you are the more, living things are to see the Creator through you. So you are a living example. You are a living example of the invisible Creator, of the invisible One. But first you have to be able to do what? To understand the deeper mysteries of what is really inside of you, because you need to be able to understand that this particular physical body that you're seeing is what? Is a temple. A temple of what? Why does the Bible say that the body that you're seeing is a temple? Why did Yahushua say that destroy this temple and in 3 days I will be able to do what? I will raise it up again? What was he talking about? What was he talking about? He was talking about this particular physical temple. He was talking about this particular mansion that you're seeing. He was talking about the body that he's already having, that when you destroy it, he's going to do what? He's going to, on the third day, he's going to do what? Elevate it. Telling you that the body that you are inhabiting is simply what? A case. It's simply a vehicle which is transporting the real you. So when you are too dumb to understand that you are a living being, now trying to follow something that is dead, then you have your own self to blame, because you could not understand the strategies of the enemy on this third dimensional plane. And you need to be able to get this, my dear brothers and sisters. Do not let all these people who are trying to use stone, they're trying to use wood which is being carved, they're trying to use gold, they're trying to use silver, they're trying to use all kind of things in order to fashion God in whatsoever, and they try to give all kind of excuses in order to do what? To deceive the gullible ones. You are not part of those people. We're talking about the higher beings who are here to be the lights. And those people who are here to be the light, they would hear, they would see, they would perceive. Their inner eyes, their spiritual being are awakened. So what is happening? They are not easily being deceived into following wood or stones, into following something that was being molten, into following anything rather than something which is already being put in which is the life which is already inside of them, because that life is what needed to do what? To emanate, so that others will be able to do what? To be attracted to that particular person, in order to do what? To give glory to what? And esteem to the Heavenly Father, which is invisible. Because now you are seeing somebody who is visible, representing the invisible, the unseen. Why do you really think that Yahushua came in order to do what? To set the record straight? And a lot of people had problems with him, because he told them the truth. He revealed the secrets of life. He poured the grace of the Father into what? He poured the grace. He opened up everything. And they had issues because he was revealing too much mysteries, which was being hidden in the sight of men. Remember, this was during the Dark Ages. And Yahushua came in order to pour this particular knowledge, in order to pour this particular spirit into what? Into all men, so that they can be able to really see that inside of you is the living being. When you are being deceived into following something that is being, I don't care who that person is or wheresoever that individual is, trying to present something outside of something which is already in you, that individual is what? Is an agent of this third dimensional plane, which is being used in order to do what? To trap souls in this particular paradigm. You as a higher being, you are to be elevated. You are to do what? To escape whatsoever traps that these other beings here are using in order to do what? To trap the entities here. Catholicism use their own Virgin Mary and they trap beings. You go to Buddha, they use Krishna, they use all the kind of Buddha, all kind of idols over there. You go to Hindu, they have their own. You come to different religions that is being contained in on planet Earth. You go to ancient Babylon, they have their own. You go to Africa, the people who have their own over there, trying to carve out whatsoever they are carving out from wood, trying to deceive the gullible one to be able to tell them to do what? To go back into something that was being carved out of a wood. You must be out of your mind. You cut up a tree, and out of this tree you make up a wood. And you want somebody to be following that wood that was being carved out of a wood, out of something that you cut off with your hand. And you want to shape a god in the hand with your own hand and say this is a god. So what happened to your brother What happened to your sister? What happened to that life which is in him? Why can't you see that thing that you want to see through that particular thing that was being constructed? Why can't you see it through your brother and sister? Oh, because you don't have no trust. You lost the trust because you yourself do not have, you do not expect no trust from nobody. You don't understand the magnitude of what is going on, right? I'm here to be able to elevate those who needed to be elevated, to be able to make them to be able to reason and see the handwritings, the way that the enemy has been deceiving a lot of people in order to make them think that, well, oh, you can be able to follow this religion in this form or be able to make something outside of something that has already been in you. You are the living one that is already residing into this particular body that you're seeing, into this vessel, into this vehicle. So you are moving. You can feel. And as a result of that, if you are being deceived into following something, you are now subjecting yourself into something that does not breathe, that does not walk, that does not speak, which is being used in order to do what? To tie entities down here. If you are deceived into following those things, you are now being subjected under what? Under the gods of those particular nations. When you are supposed to be above, now they are going to trap you down. Why? Because those things that they used to set up are being made to do what? To trap beings. They are being used in order to do what? To trap beings who do not reason. Who are what? Who are zombies. This is the reason why religion was being created. Religion is nothing but to use it for zombies. Those people who can't reason. Those people who can't think for themselves. This is why religion was being created. No matter what religion it is, it has to be created in order to do what? In order to manipulate the zombies and use their energies, because those zombies do not use their mind. They do not use their mind. This is why somebody would critically open his eye and tell you to be worshiping stone and give you reason to be able to be following stone and try to dissect whatsoever and tell you that what you are not following stone, or maybe you are following this one, you are not worshiping Virgin Mary, you are just honoring it or whatsoever. Oh, you are not following this carved wood or whatsoever, you are just using it for whatsoever. What happened to your brother out there? What happened to your sister? That living being that walks. Haven't you heard what the Bible says? That I am the Elohim of the living and not of the dead. Haven't you heard about it? That he is the Elohim, the mighty one of the living being, and not for the dead ones. Not for the dead ones. You know, the dead ones can be able to, you know, they are completely on their own level, operating in what? In the low vibrational entities. The Most High judges among the mighty ones, among gods. Because the gods are the one, the stronger ones are the one controlling those tiny gods. So the Most High do not have nothing to do with what? With all those them dead, dilapidated wood, stone, and all these things that you are created. He deals with the real ones and then he judges among them. This is the reason why you hear about Emmanuel, Elohim, the mighty ones in the midst of what? Of gods. Ain't no zombie who is going to be among the children, who is going to be among the kingdom of. Ain't no zombie who is going to be among the people who are, you know, the children who are going to make it into the kingdom of, you know, into the kingdom of mighty ones, into the kingdom of God. If you don't use your mind, if you don't use your brain, how can you make it there? If you are somebody who is trying, you know, who want to see something outside of the real thing which you are supposed to be following, and you are following something which is an illusion, which was being created to trap beings, you are following it. How do you think you can make it into the kingdom when the kingdom is a place where mighty ones, people who use their mind, are to go to? So since you don't use your mind, how do you think you're going to be part of the people who are going to be among the kingdom of the mighty ones? This is the reason why I tell you that what in the Igbo language they called it Anaeze, that is the land of kings. How can you be a king if you don't use your mind? How can you be a king if you don't really understand the nature of what is inside of you? You need to be able to wake up, my dear brothers and sisters, and do not let all these them gullible people out there who are trying to tell you all kind of things in order to deceive you into following the things which they themselves have created for their own self in order to trap themselves down here. This is the same thing that happened to the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt, and as a result they were being trapped in what? In the wilderness. And what happened? Their generation was being wiped off. Those people that did that committed that particular atrocities. because they weren't ready to go to the next dimension. So what happened? It was time to be able to do what? To flush that foolishness out of their head and trap them into what? Into the fourth dimension, so that they can make it into what? Into the next higher dimension without their foolishness which is in their brain, trying to do what? Trying to see the Most High through something that was being molded. You must be out of your mind. Can't you see that these people are blind? Can't you see that these people are just completely derailed with the way they see reality, with the way they really see things? Some of them will tell you that they are Christians and they know nothing about what Christianity is all about. The true nature of what Christianity was being built upon. Yahushua came here to be able to be the light in the midst of darkness. He came here and said, I come in my Father's name. And you receive him because you receive him not. Because why? They rejected the truth. And he came in order to shine that light. In order to set that market, that record straight. To be able to make you understand that you are the express image of the Father. But what happened? They said, no way. If he called them gods unto whom the word is revealed, how say ye? If he called a certain people gods, which is something that was already been established, how say you that he blasphemed because he said that he is the Son of God or the Son of Elohim? But you won't understand it. Why? Because if you don't understand the nature of what is really taking place, you will be dumbed down by any entity who is out here, who has created a God, and behind every God there is an entity which is sucking that energy, which you think that is holding that particular. Just talk for example now what is going on behind Roman Catholic Church. They present a Virgin Mary. You go to India, they have their Buddha. Behind all those molten things, there is something that they are attached to, which is sucking the energy of those people who are being tied to those molten things. And as a result, those people are going to be subjected under what? Under those particular, because this is what they look for. This is what they seek for. You remember what happened even during the time of the children of Israel. They say within their heart that whatsoever Isaiah told them to be able to hearken to the voice of Yahuwah, they say that they are going to do whatsoever that comes out of their mind. And what happened? The Most High said, okay, since you people have said that, you people are going to confirm it. You people are going to do whatsoever that comes into your mind. And what is going to happen? Therefore, you people are going to go into captivity and are going to be penalized because of what? Because of your foolishness. You want to create a God. You want to work a molten image. You want to worship the true Creator the same way other nations worship their idols. And you don't know that inside of you is what is the living being. You don't know that inside of you is the living Creator. This is the reason why you can walk, you can speak, you can hear, you can understand, you can reason. But you can see it, you can understand it. Why? Because the enemy has shut down your eyes, your ability to be able to really see, your ability to hear and whatsoever, and you are being deceived and you are being pulled into all those them religions, which is nothing but what? But an energy sucking entities, but an energy sucking empire, which is being used in order to do what? To draw the energy of the people. This is why they give you people God. This is why they give you people stone. This is why they give you people sign of the cross. This is why they give you people all kind of wood and stone and whatsoever, in order for you to be able to be. Because why? You don't reason, you don't see nothing. By telling people, by pointing people to what? To a wood, by pointing people to a stone, by pointing people to you are blind. You are blind. You can see nothing. See the living being in your brother. See the living Creator in your brother who is truthful, because inside of those ones, when Yahushua came, everyone looked, those who are sincere truth seekers, they saw the Father through Yahushua. But some of you don't understand what that means, right? I come in my Father's name. I and my Father are one. He who have seen me have seen the Father. When Stephen said to Yahushua, show us the Father and it is sufficient for us. What did Yahushua say? Have you been so long with me and don't what I say? Have you been so long with me and don't know that he who have seen me have seen the Father? And if you are a children, if you are the son of Yahushua, if you are a child of Yahushua, what makes you think that you are not? What makes you think that you are not an express image of the Father? or an express image of the Son, saying that what the Father has begotten the Son and you are the child of the Most High himself. Some of you do not know nothing about what a child of a Most High or child of God, as you people say it, is. You have no idea of nothing of what is really going on. When I talk about the spiritual warfare or the spiritual things which is already being applied in this third dimensional plane. You got to wake up, my dear brothers and sisters out there. I make this message, for the truth seekers, for those whose hearts are ready. Those who want to really see things and be able to reason, to be able to really analyze whatsoever. It doesn't matter who tells you whatsoever. Try to be on the right place to be able to really analyze whosoever is telling you. Because you can't hold nobody, you hold yourself for not being able to do what to get to the real truth of what is going on. Because you were being given the opportunity to be able to do what? To study to show thyself approved. Because a workman needed not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. You are there, somebody brought in a religion or whatsoever and use it to be able to trap you in order to go back into whatsoever, or to be able to point you into something that is being molded. When you are a living being, don't you think that you have been deceived? Don't you think that you have been trapped? It is time to be elevated into the real knowledge of reality of why things happen the way they happen. Some people can, those entities can come close to them because they destroy their energy, they destroy their energy signatures immediately. I said immediately their energy signature is going to be paralyzed. So they can't come close to these people who are operating on different vibration. And come here and tell us children of light to be able to do what? To be following all this foolishness of out here, where somebody will go and construct something out of a wood, or go and model something out of a stone, or model something melted something out of a gold or a silver, and try to tell somebody to come and worship that thing, and that thing is what is your God. You must be out of your mind. Don't you hear what the Bible said, that what the Most High do not dwell in a house made with in a temple made with hands, but you made your own golden calf with hand. You made your wood with hand. Have you ever seen where this particular body was being made with hand? It was through the word that this particular body, physical body that you're seeing, was being made. And that is why the Bible tells us that this is the temple. This is the temple. You hear people today, they go to the Saudi Arabia or Medina to be able to do to say that they want to use from there and look, and face towards the east in order to make some prayers. So they want to use that point as a point of contact in order to do their own prayer or whatsoever. And yet there are people who are living beings among them, which they cannot be able to do to see, because there, the things which is being used to be able to trap them entities down there is nothing but the stone. Which is why they are sending those vibrations, energy. They are sending those energy which is being sent forth through a portal. Because they are being dumb. This is why the Bible talk about that you are going to go into a nation and you're going to be worshiping wood and stone. Because you are too blind to see. There is a very big veil upon your head which you can't see. Which you can see. And it is time for those lovers of truth, for those truth seekers, to be able to really start to be able to reason and understand the magnitude of what is really taking place. We are here to be able to do to elevate those who needed to be elevated. And if you want those who want to trap themselves down here by trying to give all kinds